Ajahn was just saying time for Dharma, and we were reminding her that any time can be time for Dharma. Because if we think that lunchtime or watching TV or looking at the mobile is not time for Dharma, then it's limited. So it depends on conditions and accumulations, yes. Yes, which moment.
Akusala.
Yes, and this is the point. It can be kusala at lunchtime, helping the others, showing an interest, understanding, and it can be akusala now, worrying about this or that, clinging to this, the situation or the people or what's seen or heard. So we prefer not to set rules. Any time can be time for Dharma if there is interest and understanding. I'll just quickly say hello to those at home, Gabby, Zhao, Alberto. We're just starting here.
Hello.
Alberto, do you have anything you would like to bring up today? Any topic or question or anything you've heard from the YouTubes in Vietnam?
Hi, Sarah. Just give me a second. I'll plug in the. Be back in a tick.
At home we have Alberto, Gabby, and Zhao.
Excuse me.
Carry on,
With
Zhao.
me, one more person, Ngọc Mai. Not only me. Now I stay with Ngọc Mai. They are Ngọc Mai with me. So there are two people.
Hello, Mai. Yes. If you have anything you'd like to bring up, Mai, very welcome. And hi, Anne. Yes.
Yes. If she have any question want to bring up, I will say for her. I will remind her. Thank you. Not now.
So, Alberto, are you ready with your topic now?
Yes. I was thinking about what Drake was saying yesterday about the wanting of being a better person, in the sense of having less dosa and less kilesa, and of course it's all about the idea of self, which we have and we don't. So basically, I just wanted to tell Drake to that is very common mistake we all make at the beginning. We do it for ourselves, for the self anyway, which is not right in the Buddhist sense, of course, because the Buddha taught about anatta, and it has to be right from the beginning. It has to be understanding at intellectual level first about the nature of reality, the truth, which is not self, and we're not even used to it, to think about it, even though we have read a lot about sutta and Abhidhamma and all that, but it's still something we cannot grasp, because the idea of self is so deeply rooted, and it's leading us away from the truth and from the teachings. So basically, it's the usual. Because having listened to Ajahn for many years, we know intellectually about the truth. So in that sense, we are in a better position than the beginner who doesn't even intellectually is not used to think in terms of anatta and conditions. But the real understanding comes with a direct understanding of the present moment as anatta, and that includes all the realities which the self doesn't like, but also the realities which the self likes. So, and that are usually not regarded as a problem because of not being disliked, and we need the teachings to we need to listen to the teaching to begin to let go the idea of self, so that that the understanding can grow to the level which we all want, we all desire, which is direct understanding of the reality. But it has to be naturally just by listening. So
So, Albert, have you got any a question from this for Ajahn? Just any point you would like Ajahn to?
As I said, I was just making a comment. Sorry, no questions.
On the point yesterday, okay.
Is there right understanding now? This is the point. In order to have clear understanding of what is there now, not just only once is heard about seeing right now. There's seeing, a moment of seeing, and it depends on whether there is conditions for understanding the seeing or not yet. That's why we just talk about the truth. It's there any moment. But even we heard a lot about what is seeing. It's the moment of seeing. See, but even just the word seeing has to be considered. No one there to be truthful to the reality which sees. It sees, no one sees at all. Again and again and again, to be conditioned to just closer and closer to this moment of seeing, even just thinking about it. No one can force it to arise, but it depends on conditions. So here it again, seeing now sees, it's a reality which experiences the object. From moment to moment, it develops very gradually, unknowingly. But when there's a moment of thinking about it, consider it, it begins to develop until it appears different stages. The stages that is not just thinking about seeing is there now sees, but the reality, that which sees, begin to be object of a little more careful considering to get closer and closer to the truth. Who knows when will it there? Understanding, seeing as it's heard and thought about many, many times, or anatta. And that's the way to understand the anatterness better and better, little by little, clearer and clearer, until there's no idea thinking about to do something with it right now. Not any moment can be done at all, because seeing sees anytime. It depends on at the moment thinking, considering, or beginning to understand the difference between the seeing and that which is seen. Even that is seen does not appear as it is. Instantly, when the seeing is there, the idea of something is there, atta is always there. That's why I have firm confidence, adidana, so firm as parami, to know that even it's there now appearing, not enough understanding of it yet. But when there is more time to think about it, to consider it, it begins to be object of considering little by little. So it takes quite great patience just to develop the understanding of that which is there as not I, because at that moment I am somewhere lurking in a corner of life. Thinking now, it's I who is thinking. But it doesn't matter at all, because as long as there is condition, not to forget it, to listen to it again and again, just like now, it's the only way to get a little closer gradually to understand the seeing right now, or that which appears as no one. Consider how great subtlety of the truth. There are many people seeing not just that which appears, not anyone at all. And not anyone has to be the moment of realizing the truth. No one, because only one moment. There cannot be many people or many things together. It has to be just that which is seen. And condition, the reality which sees does not appear as hardness or softness, but it's there. And that which is seen does not appear as before. That's moment of clear considering, a little clear understanding to be the first moment of Pativeda. That's why from intellectual understanding, pariyatti, it takes quite a long time to condition the moment of Patipatti. Just understand what is there now by conditions, as what we have heard little by little, until it's so clear that when it's just the object of one moment, on and on and on, there can be moment of nothing can appear as people and things anymore. Is that true? And this is the development of right understanding with confidence of the truth, as at moment of seeing, there is no one. There is only that which is seen and seeing right now. This is a way to have confidence of the truth. No one at all, no thing at all. Only a moment of that which arises and experiences the object, and the object is different. So the reality which experiences is different too. But it's the reality which is the chief of experiencing. Before it can be Chittanupassana Satipatthana, there must be firm understanding of the truth of Chitta. Otherwise, how can there be moment of just attend to the characteristic of Chitta, not other reality? It takes time just to hear again, listen again, carefully consider again, little by little. And who knows, just touch the knife handle, does it now, wearing away. Unknown, little by little. But the confidence of hearing again, considering again is there. To consider, to condition moment of considering. What is that? Now, at any moment. And understand the different words in Tipitaka. For example, Chitta is the chief of experiencing an object. And the Cetasika, no. See, what does it mean? Because both Chitta and Cetasika experiences the same object together at moment when it's there together. But Chitta is the chief of experiencing. So we understand its experience. And the Cetasikas also experience, but it's not as a chief, so it knows. Can we use that word? Or the Tipitaka use that word. But what about the understanding? It doesn't mean that Chitta just know without experiencing. It experiences the object, and Chitta is the chief. That's why the seeing is Chitta, but the Cetasika, it has its own function. Nothing can see only one moment of seeing only, even it's just Chitta. It's one Chitta which arises and just see clearly. So now, more consider about the truth. It sees clearly. Before it can be understood that now it sees clearly the object, no other object at all. And even there are many objects, the characteristic of Chitta does not change. It sees clearly, no matter the object appears as it is, or it appears as seeing now many people around, but the Chitta sees. So in order to understand the word used in the Tipitaka, in Pali, so what about other language in Thai or other word like to know? If it does not experience, does it know? Hardness, sound cannot know anything at all. But to understand the differences between the function of Chitta and Cetasika, there can be any word used, or depends on considering why it's used, that it is used by that word, and the other is used by the other word. Experiencing clearly, see, much different from the reality which arise together, experience the same object, but not as clear as Chitta, because the function is Chitta, it's only experience the object only clearly. But the other Cetasikas experience, but it does not see, so it knows the same meaning. If we consider why they are used by different words, but it just shows that Cetasika cannot experience the object as Chitta.
I think, as you say, in the end, it's not about the word, and any word can be used to show the distinction. But if, for example, we were to say, Passa knows the object that is contacted, it sounds a little strange, because actually Passa doesn't know, doesn't understand anything. Panya understands, Panya knows. So to say and I think this was a point that Vincent was making before, when we say that the Cetasikas know the object, well, it just has to be understood in the sense of experience the object in a way that is different from the way Chitta experiences. They don't experience it clearly like Chitta, but they each have their own functions. So usually we wouldn't say Chaitasikas know the object, but it is just a word.
For example, does Phassa experience the object? Otherwise, how can it contact?
It experiences the object and it has the function of contacting the object. So I think everyone is happy with this, but when we say Phassa and the other Chaitasikas all know the object, it can sound rather misleading in English, yes.
So it depends on understanding the reality, the nature of the reality, not just in word or just by word.
That's why there has to be careful considering about each Dhamma and the function and in what way that Dhamma experiences the object and how it experiences it and so on. Otherwise, one just gets caught up with the words because we can never find the right words in English for the Pali. So it's always an approximation, like Vitaka or any word, any Chaitasika it's just a rough translation, that's all.
And does Chitta knows Chaitasikas which arise with Chitta? Why, when there is the understanding of the reality which experiences the object, there are two kinds, Chitta and Chaitasikas.
And Alberto, I think you made a good point that in the beginning it is all about self, wanting to be a better person, doing something, practicing for oneself, desire for results, and so on. But as one considers more, it is about understanding for the sake of understanding the truth. So Ajahn's first comment, what about what appears now? What about the reality now? That's the point. Otherwise, when there's forgetting about what the point is, then it's not the right way. Anything else you would like to mention in regard to Ajahn's response, Alberto? Or anything else you'd like to bring up?
Just on the subject of Kilesa, about I was reading the sutta, the one, the question of Ajita about the world, how the world is, how like dosa and loba are flowing freely, and what is the dam that can block this flow? And I was reading the flow are the asava, and the flow towards the object, towards the object of the five doors, and so the word was nivarana. And I would like some Ajahn, if she can explain more about stopping the asava. The level of understanding which can thinking about the way of the way which leads away from the from the asavas. And
Can I just ask a question first, please, Alberto?
yes, please.
What would be the purpose of wanting to stop or stopping the asavas?
Well, that was the question that Ajita was asking the Buddha. Because the world is like swept away by akusala, basically.
I thought you gave a very poetic description of things with the dam being blocked and then the flow and so on and so forth. But when you think about it, as between the asavas which do not appear and those realities, those unwholesome tendencies, for example, and other realities which do appear, which is more likely to be the object of awareness and understanding?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
And the other thing to consider is this: which of those two is likely to be reduced or lessened by the development of understanding? Obviously, those that are more prominent. And in fact, I would think it's only at times of enlightenment that we know it at times of enlightenment, not just the asavas, but all the latent tendencies that have never even reached the level of being an asava will be eradicated. But before then, it seems to be that they are not actually a problem in the sense that people tend to think of them as something to be got rid of. Because although they are still arising, they are not they're not going to cause one to be a condition for any act of strong agusala through body, speech, or mind.
And it was mentioning also the object of the asava. So the asava flows towards in the direction of this object.
I think the flow in the asavas is the oozing out. So it's the arising, not that they flow towards anything, but they flow out from the mind.
I was reading in the commentary that was saying, and because the question was about what keeps the world hidden, and what and then what yeah, basically, I think the point made was that oh yeah, he used the word ayatana for visible object. So it was rupa ayatana, because the verb was flowing, the kilesa flowing, which is and the commentary was explaining flowing as asava, which means flow, and adding that it was flowing everywhere, and everywhere was the ayatanas, like visible object, rupayatana, visible object, and
Okay, I'd be interested to see the commentary sometime
yeah.
and find it. And it might be.
Anyway, yeah, it's
Usually it refers to the asavas oozing out. Anyway, let's ask Ajahn for any comments
yes,
on the
please.
topics you've mentioned, because there have been quite a few. The flow of the asavas to the objects, the stopping the asavas, the level of understanding, the rupayatana, the kalesa flowing. Any comments, Ajahn?
Right now, as much as we can think about, close one's eyes, nothing there. And as soon as one opens one's eyes, so many things, people and things around. Each process just experience only that which impinges on its base, that's all. So uncountable moment, who knows what is what after one another. That's why when we talk about just one moment, no matter we talk of one reality, for example, Nibbana, does it arise? See, no conditions for Nibbana to arise. So it's different from this moment. And even this moment is now appearing. No understanding of even just one reality as it is. But it's known that whatever arises is conditioned to arise by many conditions. But that which does not arise because no conditions for its arising. See, that is moment when nothing arises. No condition is there to condition Nibbana to arise. And right understanding at moment of experiencing Nibbana eradicate ignorance which arises with attachment, with wrong understanding and doubt. See, because it experienced that which nothing can condition. That's why it's not moment of anything arise at all. That as much as it can be understood, the difference between the reality, which is citta, cetasika, rupa, and nibbana. That's why if we keep on thinking about nibbana, it's impossible to let go the idea of asava and the other kinds of kilesa, because as soon as one opens one's eyes, before there can be different people, it has to be a process of experiencing an object at a time. Now that is seeing, right? Who is sitting? See, we don't have to say, I'm sitting and I'm seeing, but it's I, the asava is there. Does not appear as other degree of kilesa at all. That's why we know that we look at someone, Kunmarasak is sitting, but I am sitting too, without any word at all, but it's the I, Bhavasava, as Attasava, Tittasava. See, that's why I just learned that so many realities are hidden. Not just the word can open the truth of it instantly, because it's so deep and so dark. So it depends on understanding from the very beginning to have firm confidence of each reality as all are Dhammas. But there are two kinds of Dhamma. One experiences the object and the other does not experience the object at all. So now seeing, see, no word, but the characteristic of that which sees is there. That is a reality. It experiences that which is seen. So that which always seen or heard is not the reality which experiences it. Begin to understand just to one word or two words about the truth, just about that which experiences and that which cannot experience, and see the difference from moment of birth. There must be a reality which arises and experiences the object at moment of birth for sure. But we don't talk about the object of that moment. And if we talk about it, no one knows. But there must be the reality which no one knows. The reality which thinks through the mind. That's why at moment of seeing, it's that which arises from birth, experience an object, unknown object, but it arises and falls away. Even the object does not appear until the reality which impinges on the eye condition, the moment of not just arise and fall, experiences the object which is unknown on and on anymore, because there is a reality, it's there, impinge on the eye base. See, does that which impinge on the eye base realize anything, experience anything, or it's just that which can impinge on that, the nature of it? No one at all. So it conditions the moment with manasikara, not as the other moment, which manasikara, the unknown object. See, because there is a reality there. That's why it attends to the characteristic which is there, not as that which is unknown as before. That's why it is the manasikara, cetasika, taught by the Buddha, that at moment of citta arises, there are many cetasikas arising together, perform each different functions. And manasikara is a reality, a cetasika, because it's not that which experiences the object clearly at moment of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and thinking. It's just a reality which attend to that which is there, which is different from other moment. So it is viti patipataka manasikara. The manasika is the food for the first viti citta, just to know that what is there at the doorway. But even it is that which impinge on the eye base, the first citta cannot see, even it's the reality which experiences the object, the same as seeing, which experiences the object, but manasikara is different. And that's why it just advert to the object with manasikara. And when it has fallen away, nothing can arise, only that which arises to see that object. See, there are manasikara two at moment of seeing, and citta two at moment of seeing, conditioned by karma. See, as the patisanti citta is conditioned by karma as well, but different moment, different condition. It's not the moment which is bhavanka anymore, but it's a moment of seeing. So the function of seeing is different from the citta before seeing and after seeing by conditions. So is there ayatana? We learn to understand the truth of what is there, not just the word. What is meant by ayatana, what is meant by dhatu. So the question of asava, see, a reality, it's there, accumulated, just arise instantly, ooze out instantly, as long as what is there conditioned to be bhavasava. Like now, I or not. Seeing, hearing, I or not. Sitting, I or not thinking. The bhavasava is there all the time. For example, in Tipitaka it says someone knows who's sitting, walking, But what about this? Too, sitting too, or walking too. Even we don't use any word at all. It's there, beyond words. Just ooze up very slightly because it's just not the moment which it has been experienced enough to take it for something. So when there is the understanding of a reality, there can be more understanding of other reality at the moment too. For example, when there is the understanding of that which arises at birth, experiencing an object, there can be the condition to think a little more about it has to be that which arises at birth. But at birth, the object does not appear because it's not that which is the world now, impinged on the five doorways or the mind. That's why beginning to understand it's there from birth on and on, non-stop. There are conditions for its arising, but no one attend to the characteristic which sees now. Just attend to the object all the time. That's why it has to be the understanding of that. Otherwise, there will never be Cittanupassana Satipatthana. Just learn about what is there as it is, little by little, and that is the path, subtle path, leading to let go ignorance from whatever is understood, like hearing. When there is the understanding of seeing, there can be the understanding of hearing. The hearing is that which experience the object. At moment of birth, at moment of seeing, at moment of hearing, at moment of thinking. That's why we begin to understand that which is not the chief of experiencing, because it contact, or it feels, or it remembers, rising together with each moment of citta, but it cannot be citta at all. Different characteristic, different function. So we understand more avijja, condition, sankhara. See, but there must be understanding a little more. What is the difference? What does it mean? The condition in the past, avijja and samsara, sankhara. Condition what? Vijnana, patisanti citta. And the other vipaka later. What are ayatana? See, just talk about each moment a little more. What are there at moment of seeing? Without one of them, they cannot be seen. When there is just the eye based, there's no seeing yet. But when that which impinges on it, ayatana, it has to be there together. The rupa, which is the eye sense, hasn't fallen away, and the rupa, which impinges on it, hasn't fallen away. So it conditions the moment of seeing. Ayatana and cetasika must be there too. That's why just understand one reality can begin to understand more and more, little by little, about what Buddha taught for 45 years. Is that true? Living in the nimitta world, ignorance and attachment. How long ago? So is it dark or light now? When there's no word of the Buddha, we think that we are in the light. It's not true. Ignorance is there, not understanding moment to moment what are there. Is it Tatu? See, we can go on understanding a little more. Understand it's not me or mine at all. Only understanding is understanding. This is the only way, the path letting go. The idea of self with ignorance and attachment. Is there doubt now? It's not known, see. When we talk about any reality of Cetasika, it's not known. Even its memory or sanya, marking, remembering, it's unknown until it's known. Only at moment of Dhamma Nupassana Sripatthana, see, by way of khanda, 5 khandas, nivarana and so on, all there in life, unknown. And this is the way to gradually letting go, clinging to that which is there as something atta. Otherwise, it has to be atta all the time, all the way. Now, atta or anatta. And the moment when it appears as it is, clearly, just one object at a time. But even that is only the nimitta of that reality, not just only single one. Impossible. And we live in the idea, someone, something, clinging. And I'm sitting, even there's no word that I'm sitting. See, if one walks, no one. But the idea of I'm walking is there, unknown, asava. Does anyone try to know the asava? It is covered up with ignorance and attachment as soon as there is such idea. And before that idea, it's there too. Pavasava, Tithasava, and so many wrong understanding in a day. So give more time to kusala or more time to akusala.
At this moment, not by the situation. Otherwise, we think about something and someone again.
By condition.
By condition.
So this moment of understanding is conditioned to let go, ignorance.
We read the descriptions about the stopping or the flow of the asavas and so on, but if there's no understanding now of what appears, then it's like fantasy, a fantasy, the stopping of the asavas, so more precious to understand what can be known now rather than dreaming about stopping the asavas. But the Buddha taught there is a way that understanding and the path can be developed.
And when Ajahn made the comment that so many realities are hidden, I believe she is not suggesting that those realities are the ones that need to be understood now, but just pointing out that in addition to what does appear, there is still lots of realities, including unwholesome tendencies, that are not known at all. Whether they eventually all have to be seen, I'm not 100% sure, because I think at some stage the understanding of conditioned realities generally is enough to eradicate the tendencies. But the point is anyway that as understanding is developed, probably the more subtle realities that are hidden now begin to become apparent. And so it's not a question of having to uncover them for understanding to see, but really it's a question of developing understanding, which then begins to uncover those hidden realities.
And I know it's very late for you, so before you completely fade, is there anything you would like to bring up? Any question or topic?
Thank you, Sarah, but no, I don't have anything now.
Oh, and Azita, did you have anything you wish to bring up on this topic or any topic?
No, Sarah, I don't. Brain's a bit scattered at the moment because I'm not in my usual place. So, yeah, I don't have any questions at the moment.
I don't know, Azita, if you were with us earlier when Alberto raised a point about the asavas, which he said that he implied he'd been discussing with you. So it may be of interest to you if you didn't catch it then. And about stopping.
What did he say? That we'd been discussing it?
He didn't. He raised a point about stopping the asavas.
He said it was your question.
Your question. So I don't know in what circumstances that might have come up between you, but we did have some discussion about it, which you might have missed.
I don't recall discussing that because I certainly feel like I can't stop the asaras. They flow. So
right.
I'm not sure where that came from because it doesn't feel like I've asked that question, but who knows? Right. Maybe I did one time.
I wouldn't have thought it was a question that would come from you, but anyway.
Right. Well, thank you.
I thought I'd give you a chance to clear that one up.
Right. Okay. Right. Yeah. Look. Yeah. There's no stopping them. That's for sure.
And Ajahn referred briefly in passing to a point that we've discussed quite a lot over the last few days, and with regard to the three kinds of manasikara. And what I understand now is a little more refined from the way we used to talk about it. We used to say there are three kinds of manasikara. One is the cetasika, which arises with every citta and attends to the object at moments of seeing, hearing, thinking, every moment. And this is referred to as aramana patipadaka manasikara. Aramana, the object, the manasikara that attends to that object, and the particular object, pati, and padaka, foot. So it's a foot for attending to that particular object. And the other two kinds we have always just said, oh, well, they refer to cittas. In a way, this is right, but actually it is to the manasikara, the cetasika, that arises with specific cittas. So the first one is the viti citta patipadaka. So it actually refers to the cetasika manasikara that arises with the first citta in any sense door process and is the foot for that citta to experience the object that has just impinged on the sense space. For example, if visible object has impinged on the sense space, the first citta, the Panchadwara Vajana citta, adverts to that object, and the manasikara attends to that object. So it's like the foot for the adverting to that first object. So this is the viti citta patipadaka manasikara. And the third kind refers to the manasikara, Chaitasika, which arises with the chitta, which before the kusala or akusala chittas arise, before the javana chittas. So the manasikara Chaitasika that arises with the mano dwara vajana chitta in a mind door process. So it is the Chaitasika, which is the foot for that door, that first chitta before the javana chittas to experience its object. And in the sense door process, it is the Votapana chitta, which arises before the javana chittas. So that is the javana patipadika manasikara. So actually, when we say there are one Chaitasika and two chittas, actually there are three Chaitasikas, but in the first case, it's referring to every manasikara arising with every chitta, and the other two are referring to the particular manasikara arising with particular chittas, which have their specific role in the sense door and mind door processes.
Yes, well, it's not clear to me why there need to be, why the other two are mentioned, because in each case you were saying that the manasikara Chaitasika is the foot for the jitta to experience the object. So the function of manasikara is the same in the terms of the first one, which is the Chaitasika, and in the next two, which are we call jittas. And there's still, I mean, that is the function of manasikara in every jitta uniformly. So why single out those two particular jittas? I'm not quite clear, but anyway, I'm not looking to debate it or discuss it further. Just saying I'm still not clear about it.
I think also, John, I was not so clear on it. It did kind of make sense to me, but the fact of calling manasikara a jitta. So I'm with you. I'm probably a little confused about it, but what I remember of the Panchadwara Vachana jitta was classed as the doorman or doorwoman. Had the door was knocked on, but that jitta didn't see the visitor. It was the next jitta, say the Jakuvinyana, that actually met with the object. So
This is just stressing the attention, the manasikara, which has to attend to that new object, because not the Bhavanga Chitta object, but the new object that the door person is experiencing through any doorway.
right.
How many Chaitasikas are there?
Altogether,
How many Chaitasikas are there?
there's 52.
Okay, how many Manasikara Chaitasika?
Only one.
One, right?
One manasikara Jaitasika.
Mm-hmm. At different moment,
Yes.
attending to the object.
Yes.
What Manasikara arises with Chavanachita?
Well, it is either yoniso manasikara or ayoniso manasikara, whether it's kusala or akusala.
Even it's akusala, it is yoni Manasikara. When it's kusala, it's Manasikara, wisely or unwisely, but it has to be Manasikara.
yes.
Can manasikara be citta?
No,
Mhm.
cannot.
But different moment of manasikara, different names.
Mm,
To understand that at that moment, citta is different. Vithi patipatakat manasikara is manasikara arising as the fruit of that which attend to the object which impinge on the eye base, not as when it's bhavanka, right?
right. Okay. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's the first vithi citta. And the chavana patipataka manasikara arises before kusala or akusala or kriya for arhata, right?
Right.
So, at how many chittas with vithi patikara manasikara? How many citta arises with vithi patipataka manasikara?
Vitti is just one.
That's
Votapana.
one, right? And how many citta arises with chavana manasik patipataka? Patipataka, not just chavana, but chavana patipataka manasikara.
Or have I got it wrong? Isn't that the Votapana one? The Jawana Patipatita?
Yes, it's the Manodwara Vajana Chitta, which is called Votapana in the sense store because it has a different function. It's the same kind of chitta, yes. So in each case, it arises before the Javana chittas.
Oh, of course, in the mind door and the sense door. Yes, yes, yes. Okay.
Can it be the adverting consciousness, minder, adverting consciousness, the one which arises before javana in the sense door process?
Can it be the I think they're different jittas, but I'm not sure. I mean, that was probably going to be a question. What is the difference between Panchatawara Vachanajitta and Manodwara Vachanajitta?
Without Panchatavara Vachana, can there be any seeing, hearing?
No, cannot.
That's why it is the manasikara which arises with that citta, the particular citta, which advert to the object which impinge on the senses. So it is only vitti patipataka manasikara of the 5 doorways only. It cannot perform any function through mind door at all. It has to be panchadvara vachana citta. And the manasikara is vitti patipataka manasikara only for 5 doorways.
Okay, right. Okay, I'll tell you that.
Can it be 1 doorway?
Well, it's one doorway at a time,
Right.
but
Right. Mhm.
yes.
Yeah. And what about the chavana patipataka manasikara? How come to have such name? Chavana patipataka manasikara.
Because it's the jitta that comes before the jhana process of either sense door or mind door.
So after chavana manodvara vachana, what is the next moment? After manodvara vachana,
It's a either kusala or akusala jitta of the mind door.
that's it.
Yes.
Manodvara vachana citta, when it performs the function of adverting to the mind or object.
Right.
But even it arises with the sense door, in the sense door process, it doesn't have the function of manodvara vachana, right?
Right.
That's why its function is votapana,
Yes.
because it's not the one which adverts to the object of mind. That's why manodvara vachana has 2 functions, right? two names, two function, but only one citta,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Yes, that makes sense to me.
Okay, but might adverting consciousness arises more than the sensor, is that right? Right now, what process arises more?
I believe its mind-or process rises a lot more.
That's why, in order to talk about this one, better use the word mind or manodvara vachana when it performs the function of adverting to the mind or object. But when it performs the function to the five door, it does not perform the function of adverting to the mind or object, right? Because it's the sense door project. It's a sense door object.
Yes.
That's why we use different words to
Yes.
make it known, whether it's through mind or sense door. But it's the same citta performing the moment before jhana, no matter through sense, five sense or mind. So this cetasika can arise with 6 ways, one at a time.
Yes. Yes.
That's why we learn a little more later what citta performs what function and how many citta can perform more than one function.
And after that discussion, I think it was in one of the Vietnamese discussions when this particular subject came up, it just shows how anatta everything is. That there's no, when we talk about Vortapanijita arising before jhana and manodvara vachanajita, there's no way I can control any of this. So it's really, really good topics to talk about.
That's the point of the whole teachings of the Buddha. To understand all dhammas, all andhammas, and all dhammas are anatta.
Yes, yes. And how often we forget that. And
If it's just I am talking, I'm studying, I'm understanding, it's not the point. It's there.
I think we often forget that, as you said, Azita, because it's only like a line of reasoning rather than something that is directly known. So we learn about all the details, and from that we can conceive that everything works by conditions without the need for the influence of a self. But of course, that is just, as I say, kind of inferential reasoning, and so it's not that doesn't affect the next jitta that arises in terms of the tendency to put things in terms of a self. But of course,
I think it's because this
visual.
teaching is so rare. I mean, lifetimes have gone by that have me
Right.
in it all the time.
Yeah.
And the teaching of anatta, it's so rare.
Right. This is the first chink of light, that comes along that makes the development of the understanding possible and indeed necessary.
It's like
Sorry, it's a bit dark here.
it does look a bit darker.
Let some light in.
I'm in my grandson's room and I haven't figured out where bits and pieces are, and he's not here, so
it's still the familiar Azita we're seeing, though. Don't worry about that.
Yes.
Going to say it's like when we were talking about the asavas. The point again is just to understand that these subtle kinds of attachment and the ignorance are there, oozing out, arising instantly after seeing and hearing. And the point of studying about them is to understand how anatta they are. But if one reads in the suttas about stopping the flow with the idea that anyone can do anything, then one misses the whole point.
Mm, mm. Well, I'm not really a big sutta reader. I prefer commentaries, and that goes more into the nitty-gritty of it, because when I'm reading suttas, and I think I've mentioned this before, it's almost like an instruction. This is what you do. And I think you have to read them very carefully by bringing in what is known out of the Intl.Dhamma into the suttas to really understand what's being said.
I think that asava can be blocked even right now. It's not really, doesn't really need any effort to block them. It's just panya which does it. So
How does that work, Albert? How does the what conditions for panya to arise that, and in what sense does panya block the asavas?
Well, moment of satipatthana, for instance.
You mean at the moment of kusala, there's no asava, right? Any moment of kusala, there's no asava by definition, because asavas are not kusala citta.
Yeah,
But the tendency for them to arise remains. So it doesn't, and there's no way to make more kusala cittas in a day so that there are fewer moments of asava, as far as I know.
But we don't know when it's moment of kusala unless there's a moment of satipatthana which knows kusala from akusala. Otherwise, it's just hypothetical.
So that's another point. The difference between the kusala and akusala is probably not very well known, but when you say the asavas can be blocked, that puzzles me a bit, because that would imply more moments of kusala than there are now, and that blocking would only be a temporary one anyway, wouldn't it? Temporary suppression.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly, because it's like. And I also remember the commentary was saying that there's this kind of blocking which is temporary, like satipatthana is very temporary, because when it's not a moment of satipatthana, the asava are flowing back. So it's like lifting the dam, or which the satipatthana had put in place. But when Asachan was explaining, when it's nibbana, when it's the magga, Sutapati magga, then the asava are like dried up. So no more flowing, no need for dam, no need for blocking, because they're not flowing anymore. So
in other words, no need to think about blocking, because what is to be understood now is what appears. So the understanding does its work. The understanding develops until gradually no conditions for asavas to arise, very gradually, no conditions for wrong view to arise, even a little bit. but it's through the development of understanding, not through any idea of blocking.
Yeah, I remember the word is, Pali word is samvara, which is a very common word, samvara, which means like a block.
Guarding, protecting. So at moments of understanding and awareness, when understanding arises with awareness, at that moment there is guarding, because as Jonathan said earlier, at a moment of kusala, no asavas can arise, no akusala. So the guarding is the function of sati with understanding naturally, not by any idea of blocking, but just guarding with the development of understanding and sati.
I think samvara actually means blocking, but maybe I'm wrong.
Anyway, I think the commentary you're referring to sounds interesting. Perhaps you could bring it up sometime on the list, for example.
Yeah, sure. I'll do that.
Samvara, Ajahn, like when we talk about samvara sila, it's actually referring to the awareness with understanding that guards at that moment of understanding the object. What about blocking? Anyway, these are just words, but any comments, Ajahn, about samvara?
How many jetasikas again, and how many function of one jetasika? Otherwise, it is what we think about, but not understanding reality as it is. So what jetasika performs that function? For example, right now, it's the akusala, see, and moment of kusala. Why? What is there?
Sati, guarding, samvara. Sorry, Alberto, you were just about to answer John's question.
Or another word we can say that it is the reality which is not forgetting about kusala. At moment it's there, it think about kusala by way of dana or sila or satipatthana, different level. Word can be used when there is the understanding of the characteristic of a reality.
Ajahn, can we say, use the flow of asava, right? Can we say Brahma realm has no asava flowing? Can we say that?
Sure. No, aswa.
Brahma, Rupa realm. Brahma.
How many aswa are there?
4. Okay, so there's still.
Okay. It's the bhavasava.
Right.
And
Bhavasava, Tivasava, and Kamasava.
kamasva in Rupa Prina.
No. But when we say, when it's kusala,
Avijasava.
Avijasava, but when we say, when there's kusala, there is no asava. But
because of satta, which we talked about yesterday.
right, but in Brahma realm, there's no akusala.
At all?
There is seeing and hearing.
No
only.
lopa?
Brahma, really? Okay, I have the wrong
even
impression.
Arupa Brahma, as
Okay.
long as there are conditions for lopa, as well.
And avija, so much avija.
I saw they are calm all the time, so I had the wrong impression. Okay.
It appears as no kilesa, but in truth, it's there.
Okay.
And in Rupa Brahma, there's still seeing and hearing. So there still can be Kammasava, I think.
Is dosa asava. Dosa in the Brahma realm, but there is Rupa.
clinging to experiencing, clinging to peace, clinging to jhana attainments. So much clinging.
Even when there is lopa, mula citta, or wrong understanding, it's not the degree of asva because it appears.
I suppose you can say that if there is attachment appearing, then there must be the asava of attachment also.
It's just daily life. Who knows there is bhavasava right now, even is there. We can know only that which appears.
We don't need to think, I'm not saying you're suggesting this, but we don't need to think of trying to know things that don't appear.
It's there. Does anyone know?
But it can be useful to have the theoretical knowledge that we do when we say, well, the Buddha taught that the asavas are flowing all the time. That's useful to know.
Asava is not upadana. See, different words, different degrees. Is there now titupadana? What is known is not titupadana because I have such wrong understanding. I. And what is that? Not I. So it is said. Titupadana. Right?
I wasn't thinking about I when I answered the question.
It's there.
I was just thinking about the meaning of what you were asking.
If it's not you, what is it?
Well, then if you ask that question, of course, that is a condition to think in those terms.
That's why we
Without
know.
you mentioning that, then there wasn't
That's
any
why we know there must be different
illusion.
degrees
Right.
of all.
And that's why the asava is so subtle, because it's the degree that's not known, but
Right.
it's still there,
Absolutely. So
even though it's not upadana.
if the I was there all the time, then we wouldn't have to know about the ditasava. Because it's not there all the time, then it's useful to know that it is it must be there as asava most of the time.
It's just like, is there passion now?
Or manasikara, for that matter too. It doesn't appear. We talked a lot about it.
Who's speaking?
Can I ask something?
It's me, but it's me, mana.
That is Titdasava.
I was just Carmen, go ahead, please.
Yes, because I'm struggling with the asavas and the anusayas, even though I've read often about it, but still I don't really get it. And I really loved what Jonathan said, and it cleared up a bit. But I'm wondering, why is unwholesome root like anger or aversion, why isn't that an asava according to those 4 or 5 asavas that exist?
Is that those at moment we just speak?
No, I don't think so.
Now, while you are speaking,
No.
but it's you for sure who is speaking.
Yeah, but that is ignorance, right?
Ignorance is there when it's akusala of any degree.
Yeah,
That's
true.
the second truth, noble truth.
Yeah, but
Ignorance and attachment is the second noble truth.
yeah. But I, as far as I now sort of got it, is the asava is the it can be either or. It can be the tendency for unwholesomeness, or whether we in the moment we are there is unwholesomeness, it is this unwholesomeness. I'm not sure.
Well, I think it's actually arising, the unwholesomeness. It's not just tendency, it is arising, but at a level that cannot be, that it doesn't appear, because it's oozing out slowly and imperceptibly. So it can't be known, but it's there. Does that make sense?
But can I say, I just try to get my mind around it. Can I say that there are different levels of asava? That one is the tendency, that it is arising, but we don't know. And sometimes I know that there is not so nice thinking. So I know that there is asava or thinking with unwholesome roots.
Right. So can we say the tendency can be weak or strong when it arises?
Yeah.
So when it's very weak, it's imperceptible, but it's there. That's the asava. And it's never known. But when it's more strong, then
then it's the root.
You know that there's anger or attachment there.
So basically the answer on my question is then that anger, I don't think that's right, but anyway, I'm saying it, that anger is cannot be in that slow or how do you say that?
Well, it doesn't mean it can't, but it's not being drawn to our attention by the Buddha when he names the asavas. Just because he says there are this many asavas, it's only a way of drawing attention to certain unwholesome tendencies that are there all the time that we might be inclined to think were no longer there or weren't there.
Okay. So this is, I understand that these 4 are there and we, they're so subtle we don't even see it. Like Ajahn stresses out that there, even if I'm sitting here, there's an I, there is an I that, etc. I got it for this moment.
So rather than referring to different levels of asavas, we can refer to different levels of akusala. So the anusyas are the akusala that doesn't arise at all. And the asavas are the very subtle kinds of attachment and ignorance that arise so quickly after seeing or hearing or smelling or tasting or touching, even in the sense door. And then by the time it's the akusala that we have some knowledge about, as you mentioned, the anger, by that point it's nivarana, when it's evident. And when it's even stronger and conditions, bad deeds, then it's the akusala that can bring results. So different degrees of akusala, but the asavas are always the very subtle kinds of attachment and ignorance arising so quickly in the idle process or any sense door process.
And do I have the correct understanding? And it just comes from the feeling I got, how we talk about it, that the asavas are sort of more important than the anusayas, because we talk more about asavas than about the unas.
Without the anusyas, there would be no asavas. So only when the anusyas are eradicated is there no more arising of asavas. So the anusyas are what have to be eradicated stage by stage. But the Buddha mentioned asavas a lot, and it indicates how quickly attachment arises, how quickly ignorance arises. And as Azita was saying, it shows how anatta these dhammas are. No one can stop, no one can block, no one can stop the asavas from arising, because by conditions they arise instantly, even right now. Unknown.
Thank you.
So if someone thinks, oh, not much, wrong view, but it's just because of not enough understanding, because it arises so quickly. Now, something there, someone there, long before there's any idea in words.
Thank you. That helps a lot.
Thank you, everyone at